So today we'll see a topic which is called release matrix or release procedure. Okay. Um, See, whenever we go for any kind of procurement, whether it is your normal procurement or capital procurement, so your procurements are subjected to approvals. Okay. So to address this, in SAP we can define a release procedure. The release procedure is very simple. I'll tell you how. What is the meaning of release procedure? Now, this lease procedure is applicable to purchase order level and purchase requisition level also. So, this will be a multi-level value-based approval system. Okay, suppose you raised one indent. Okay, so currently, suppose you don't have any approving authority as per your organizational hierarchy. So, it will go to your manager for approval. Okay, now your manager will have a approval authority up to certain limit. Let's say your manager have a approving authority up to 10,000 rupees. Okay. After that, if your indent value is greater than 10,000, then it may be approved by some senior person. Let's say a general manager can approve it. And after that, from general manager authorities from 10 to 1 lakh rupees. Okay, now suppose if again your indent is more than 1 lakh rupees, then it will go to some senior person like VP. So it will be a value based approval system. Okay, so to achieve this value based approval system, we design a certain release strategies. So first of all, I'll just write here the release strategies. So I'm writing first release strategy. Okay, now this I'll just brief you again. Okay, so our objective is to achieve that. Now I cannot here we create a few approval codes. Okay, like we create our conditions. Okay, in a similar way, we create a few approval codes, and codes are assigned to respective person according to their approval authority. Basis team fix up their authorization. Okay, so let's say I'll use three codes. First, I'll say release code. So let's say I'm creating one release code as a, let's say I put a Z1. Meaning of Z1 is manager 1, Z2, manager 2. Then other GM, this general manager, VP, VP. Then I'm putting CO as a CO. Okay. So first step in release strategy configuration is to create a release codes. Now on basis of this release codes, we can create a different combinations. Okay. So now take you to system. So under the SPRO config, you go to metal management. Under metal management, we have purchasing. The purchase acquisition. Here we have a lease procedure, right? Now this lease procedure can be set up at two level. First is First is called without classification. Second is called with classification. Okay. Now your purchase order can have a more than one item, more than one line items. Okay. So now it's your choice that whether you want to approve your purchase acquisition item line wise or header wise. Simply header based approval or item based. Okay, so I was telling you about whether your approval will be on header level or on item level. Okay, so we have here two options: setup procedure without classification and with classification. So I'm selecting a with classification. Another benefit of selection of with classification is that suppose this is a very simple example. Suppose I write one release strategy. One here I said Z1 is the approving authority and he has a limit from 0 to this much. Okay. But suppose if I put one more condition here, which is a document type condition. Document type is purchase order document type or purchase acquisition document type. Let's say this Z1 is allowed it to approve revenue procurement of 0 to 10,000. Similarly, it may possible that Z1 again is the same person, but in case of a capital expenditure, he is allowed it up to 1,000 rupees because I have applied one condition, right? So now this type of procurement or we can say the purchase order document type or purchase acquisition document type is handled by class and characteristic in SAP. Okay, so for that reason, I selected the class and characteristic. So first of all, we'll go and we'll see this setup procedure with classification. So under this setup procedure with classification, first of all, we'll create one release group. Okay, now what is release group? See, this approval is applicable on purchase acquisition, purchase order, and rate contracts. It means we have three different categories of approval. Okay, so group is nothing but you can simply create a group or type of release strategy. Like here, one release group is created as a RD. This is normally one group, and overall release. Okay, means it is a header level release. And this class, I'll tell you about this class later on. But this class is simply a releasing class of the purchase requisition. So first step is to create a release group. Now this release group will be assigned to different release codes. So I'm keeping this release group same. After that, we'll create a release codes as per our wish. Okay. So see, here we have these many codes are already defined. Let's say I'm creating a few more codes. RD, it is a release group. Z1. Now this workflow, by using this workflow, we can send a kind of alert to a next person for approval. Okay, this workflow is also, this is workflow maintenance is not a mandatory part of release procedure setup. But if you are going for some, let's say, SAP mobility solution, Fury, SAP Fury, in that case, this workflow becomes mandatory for you. So I'm simply copying this. I'm putting manager one, again a second group, then manager two. So I created a two release codes initially, Z1 and Z2.
The release code's already created in the system,
No, we have to create.
but how did you assign without creating the release code then? Z1, Z2,
Hmm.
which must be already in the system, I think.
No, I just created. Right. I typed in Excel. Now see this GMVP and CEO. CEO. Okay, so I'll create again. See, I clicked on new entry, enter release group. A release code is GM, and description is
The
general.
code what you are entering, GM,
Yeah.
did not be created before entering here?
No, no.
No, no?
No, this is a direct entry screen. Later on, we'll use it. See, first of all, we'll enter a one simple group on first screen. On next
Yeah.
screen, I'll assign a release code to group. Then on next screen, I'll do any other thing. Okay, so it handle in that way.
I thought the code also to be created before, just like release group.
No.
Okay.
Here, if you enter a code, then it will be directly created along with release group.
Okay.
So I'm creating a I created. See, these are a BP, these three, these total five. I created total five release codes. Right. Now what is the
Mhm.
next screen? Initially we have created one group and assigned the group to few release code. Next screen is to define a matrix. Okay. So I'll put matrix in that way. Suppose right now initially there is no need to defining a value because value part and the different combination can be handled by class and characteristic concept. So suppose in your case you have a one release strategy which is directly Z1, only a manager where value is from this to this. Okay. Then second level would be in second level, first of all, manager will approve. After that, it will come to GM. Okay. And here we can say that if my value is greater than 1000.012, this much, then it will fall under this category. Right. Then let's say third level. Third level will be first. Here I need a approval of first two people, Z1, GM, and VP. Okay. And here the value will start from, let's say I'm putting anything greater than 10,000 will come under this category. Okay. It means initially we have to create these three categories. After that, we'll assign value to it. So for that, here I created a release codes. Now I'm going into the release strategies. It is called release strategy. Before going to release strategy, I just brief you one thing here. Now, whenever you trigger any kind of approval on a purchase acquisition or purchase order, so first of all, when suppose you just created a release, you just created a purchase acquisition, and the release purchase acquisition is not approved by anybody. It means we have to use some type of indication there. Okay, that indication is a status of purchase acquisition. So let's say here we have a these indicator. X means blocked. And if I create a purchase acquisition and that purchase acquisition is not approved by my manager, then its status will be blocked initially. Okay. Then suppose if my manager has approved my purchase acquisition, then what is the next about purchase acquisition approval? Either you will go for RFQ, which we have seen, or you will directly create a purchase order. Okay. So it means on approval, my status should change to 2 from X, correct? And 1, here somebody else used this status 1 also. Generally, these two status are commonly used. If you want to put some restriction for RFQ, then you can use it. Okay. So these 2 and X indicator. Okay. Now I'll go and create a release strategy. Okay. So first of all, this release strategy is belong to a particular group. The group which we have seen, let's say I'm putting group RD. Okay. And here I need to enter a release strategy number, which is my own number. I can enter ABC 10, 20, 30, anything. I'm saying that release for manager 1. Okay. Under the manager 1, we said our first release strategy will have only one level, Z1. Okay. So I'll put Z1 as a code here. Now I press enter. Now here we have to follow few prerequisites. So I just clicked here. See, this is a status. Now this indicates if here we find a tick, it means it is approved. So if Z1 is release strategy, if Z1 release code is not approved, it means this release purchase acquisition is blocked. Now if he approves, then it will be considered for next operation, that is RFQ or purchase order. Okay, I'm saving it. I'm just creating one more release strategy. Okay, where you'll get the good understanding about this, because here we had only one level. That's why. So procedure will remain same. Z2 I am giving name. Release strategy for GM. Under this release strategy, we said our first level should be Z1. Then second level will be GM. Now, in this case, what should happen? Suppose this you created a purchase acquisition. This purchase acquisition falls under this value band, 1,000 to 10,000. Then, in that case, if manager one approves, then should we consider that document as an approved document? No, because here we need a general manager approval also. Okay, so when we set a prerequisite here, see how I set the prerequisite. This is vertical Z1 and GM. Means after Z1, GM will approve. Okay, because it shouldn't happen that first GM approved, then Z1 should approve, because Z1 is reporting to GM. So first of all, Z1 will clear procurement proposal. After that, it will come to GM for approval. So here I simply said a relationship which is vertical between Z1 and M1. After that, if I click on the read status, see this status is now clear. Now see, this is a little detailed status here. Nobody
In
has
both,
approved.
right.
Nobody has approved, then its status is blocked. If Z1 is approved but not GM, it is still blocked. If both is approved, then only it will considered as a approved finally.
Now go back to the release prerequisites. Right here, in front of Z1, the checkbox is not checked.
This one,
What? Yeah.
okay, no issue. I'll just check it. I'll just check it and I'll show you what will happen. See, this is just replica of it. Ideally, what should happen? GM should approve. Sorry, ideally Z1 should approve first. After that, GM will approve, right? But if I use in that way, then what will happen? System will consider first approval as a GM, not Z1.
Oh.
Okay, because I want that first manager should approve, then GM should approve.
Mm.
Because of that reason, I chosen here
Now in this
vertical.
case, if only if GM approves, it get releases or it will go for Z1 approval also.
No. First of all, Z1 will approve. After that, it will come to GM. for approval.
No, that I understood. In that prerequisite screen in SPRO,
Hmm.
the setup what we made, in this setup, now go back to the next button, which is release status.
Yeah.
Right. In this case, if you look at the third row, now only GM has to approve. After GM approves, will the purchase order becomes ready for release, or it has to be approved by Z1?
For third row,
On the Now we have only check mark for the GM.
correct.
Now in this case, let's say the purchase order document is approved by GM,
Hmm.
and the status of the document still is blocked, or is it released? It's going to be released.
See, the thing what you are saying, it again depend on the individual organization. Okay, how? Suppose this is a one dimension, right? Now,
Hmm.
if your organization feel that there is no need of Z1 approval,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
okay.
Since GM has to approve.
But generally in every organization system follow in that way. Z1 GM in this way, Z1 GM VP. Because how would GM know directly?
Directly, directly it will not go to him
No, if you
because
go
of the
in this,
value.
if you go in this way, first of all it will go to Z1, then it will come to GM.
Okay,
Alternate way could be you can directly send to GM also.
right. So that's what the scenario is in our in the IMG side. By removing the check mark of G1, will it directly go to GM in this case?
Here you can also approve. See, in this case, if you go in this way, suppose if GM is approved,
Yeah.
okay, then if you want that, if GM approves, it's okay for you. You can allow the purchase order creation. So in
Or
that
then make
case,
it.
make it two, simply.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got
In
it. Yeah.
both the way. If GM
Yes.
approved, it will be two. If both approved, it
Mm.
will be two.
Yes. Yeah, got it.
Similar thing in a third level. Let's say I'm putting VP. So first will be, let's say GM, G1, Z1, then GM. Let's say I'm putting this as a scalability strategy. Okay, now in this case, nobody is approved, blocked. Z1 approved, blocked. Z1 and GM approved, blocked. Now Z1 VP is approved, then it will consider as a approved finally. Okay, so that was simply about the level defining. Okay, our next step is to see this workflow is not a mandatory, as I told you that workflow is required for SAP mobility connectivity. Okay, our next step is to assign a few characteristic to it. If you remember, I told you the example where Z1 is approving authority from 0 to 1000 for revenue item, while it may possible that for capital item, he has a approving authority of 500. Okay. Means here we have a different characteristic. So now to address that, here we use one concept which is called class and characteristic. You must have seen in SAP, in many areas we use this concept of class and characteristic. Okay, so for that we have one standard class type which is 032, which is used for release strategy setup. Okay, now
This is similar to material master characteristics, right?
correct. It is similar to everything is similar, but I tell you one
Class type is this. Okay.
example here. Only the class type will change.
Yeah, like batch characteristics 0 to 3
Correct. Zero
for
two
material
three
class
zero
is
zero
just
one.
300. Yeah.
See here we have one character class. Okay. Under that class, we simply enter the class name, class whether this class is released or not, validity of class, then any keyword you want. Then right now I'm not telling you this. Okay. But just remember, this is simply class creation is a one assignment. I'm copying this class here. Now this is a class creation. After that, what we do? This class here to control this 0 to 1000 and 0 to 500, we need it. What is this? This is basically a characteristic of your procurement, revenue capital. Now, this procurement characteristic can be defined here in terms of a purchase acquisition document types. Okay. So, other thing which I need is a characteristic. So, for characteristic, we use CT04. Here, see, we have one characteristic document type.
So these are the characteristics given by this class, or is it added to this
It is
class?
added. It is added to class. The first thing is to create a class.
You can create a new class.
Yeah, we can create new class. No issue in that.
Edit class. But it should be of 32, the class type.
Yeah, that 32 na I taken na.
It has to be 32 for the release
Yeah.
strategy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then class name. I entered class name. Status of class you may give in preparation released or logged, so I'm directly taking released. Then there is no need to assigning a characteristic right now. Okay, I'm simply saving my class.
Mhm.
Okay. Now what you can do, you can create a characteristic here. This is the one
This is
character.
independent class.
This is both are independent. Class and characteristics are both are independent. After creation of characteristic, we'll assign this characteristic to class, and finally, this class will be assigned to your release strategy. I'll show how. See, this is
And this
one.
characteristic
Yeah,
and these characteristics that you define it now, it can be assigned to multiple classes also, right?
it can be assigned. It can be assigned. It can be assigned. So this is the one characteristic for document type, which is a purchase acquisition document type. Name of the characteristic, status of the characteristic, then data type. Data type is nothing but your character format, currency format, date format, numeric format, time format. Yeah, this is basically type of field.
Right. And what is the use of the status here?
Status.
Status of the character released. Now you choose released.
Uh, See,
What does it control?
it is simply it will if you use the release, then it will allow you to see on basis of this characteristic system will trigger the approval matrix, because it may possible that you have a so many this see this characteristic is not belongs to any particular release procedure. This is a generic characteristic, like in case of material master or at the time material receipt, we can select the few parameter of material under the characteristic. So these three options are a generic option. If you want that this characteristic should be used somewhere, then you have to select status released.
If it is not released, you cannot use this characteristic.
No, no, you cannot use.
That's what. Okay.
Then this is your data type, the type of data, character, currency, date, format, all that. Okay. Here we have a single value or multiple value assignment. Okay, means can I have a single value in this or I can maintain a multiple values? Okay. And this is again my description. This is simply a language. Then here we can maintain a values, characteristic values. So let's say I'm putting,
NB for purchase orders.
I'm writing NB simply NB1. I have a two type of orders, right? Now, under this additional data type, it is very critical here. This is a structure name because how would system know about this NB and NB1? Okay, because this class characteristic is independent of MM. Okay, so
It can be
somewhere we have to give a one table name to read it out. So this here I'm giving a table name EKQ, which is my purchase order table. And if I put C as a prefix, it will be it is a structure. Then this is a standard field for my document type.
Did you enter that CEKKO? It's already there, right?
No, no, actually I'm in change mode. No, I'm in change mode. I'm not creating. I have already one characteristic, so I'm just showing you.
No, no. What I'm asking is, if you go to additional data tab, how did that value came? That CEKKO.
When you create it first time, you can enter. I'll show you.
Oh, okay. The class we created.
No
Oh,
characteristic.
this characteristic which was already there that you are trying to use.
Here I'm creating a new characteristic. Okay. Data type character. Number of
Hmm.
bytes allowed at 4. Value NB, NB, NB1, NB1. Here if I go to C, it is coming.
Hmm.
Here I'll write CKKO and BSART. Yes, it is asking me to delete these values because it will fetch from structure.
Okay.
C, format data taken from above directory. That's it. Okay. Now this
Hmm.
characteristic will be assigned. What we have done, we have created a one new characteristics and we also created a one class. This is my class name. Okay. So I'll open my class again. I'm directly opening it. My CL01.
CL02N.
Now this is my class. Under this class, now I'm pasting my characteristic.
Hmm.
Okay. It means my class and characteristic both are connected together. Right? Now
Right.
I'll use another one more thing. I'll simply copy from any older class, which is a total net order value because it will remain same.
Hmm.
Okay. It means now my release strategy will be based on two things. First of all, order type, that is type of procurement. Secondly, total net order value. Right? Now I'm saving this class. Okay. Now, till now, what we have done, the first thing, release group. Second thing, release code. Third thing, release indicators, which we haven't created, but we simply
Yeah, using
seen.
it.
Okay.
Mm.
And fourth was release strategy. Okay. After doing all these four activities, fifth one is a class creation, which will belong to 032 class type. The sixth one is characteristic creation. Then seventh one is assign characteristic to class. See, till now, my characteristic class and release strategy has no relationship, right? They both are separated things. So on next step, we'll make a relationship in them. So my next step is assign class type to release strategy. Okay, it means if you want to configure release strategy, then you have to you have to follow these seven steps initially. There may be you do not need every time this release group creation, but and release code creation also. But if you go for fresh config, then you have to follow these seven steps. And our final objective we achieve at step number 8. So here I am putting for that purpose we use transaction code which is called CL20N. First of all, I'll pick up a release group. So RD was a group. Under RD group,